Hey man, so Sony conference was today.
Sony conference? That's exciting.
Yeah, I wait for it every year, yeah.
They had new Final Fantasy, right?
No, I mean, yeah, kinda. They had this weird fishing game going on.
Fishing game?
Yeah, it was like in VR.
Right there on your left. Well, I mean, what about that new Kingdom Hearts? They gotta have something for Kingdom Hearts, for sure.
Well, no, they didn't have Kingdom Hearts. They did show a trailer, but it wasn't at E3.
Not at E3?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Oh. But for sure they had that new Dissidia, right? New trailer, new gameplay, something?
Nope, not a trace of Dissidia.
No Dissidia. Okay, for sure though, if they didn't have any Squaresoft or Square Enix, okay, they had some big new shiny Sony title. Nothing?
What's going on, YouTube? This is Darklight Dreamer, and I'm here with special guest as usual,
Wolf-Brother Methos from the channel Frost and Fist.
and we are here to give you the skinny on the Sony conference over at E3. I'm always really excited about Sony conference every year. It's like Christmas.
I'm a PlayStation guy, so I'm always looking forward to this.
Definitely. Now, see, the first trailer that they even showed was a pretty good one. Uncharted, The Lost Legacy.
Uncharted looks good. I've never played an Uncharted
I've never played an Uncharted game either. I've heard so many good things about it. Like, it's like Indiana Jones, kind of.
I mean, it's gorgeous, and it's got that, you know, I collect antiquities, kind of Lara Croft, Indiana Jones kind of feel.
Uncharted has always been on my radar, but I've never gotten around to actually playing it. It's been somewhere in the backlog. I just need to sit down. I hear they're not that very long games, so I need to sit down and, like, just dedicate myself to playing through the original Nathan Drake trilogy.
Now, I've owned the first Nathan Drake game, and I didn't like it. Something about the camera style gave me motion sickness.
Yeah, it's definitely an evolution thing.
I definitely heard that the mechanics though get better, you know, as the games went on.
Definitely, and it's all about, you know, being a treasure hunter, being an Indiana Jones kind of guy. And the guy has a really funny personality, very, you know.
Now I noticed there's no Nathan Drake here. It's all women.
This one is all about two of the characters from the original Uncharted. That are not Nathan Drake. It's two women, and they've never worked together before. He's worked with these women separately, and one of them they said was criminally underutilized. So people are really happy that they're still seeing a lot of her in this game.
Is that the soldier chick or is that the treasure hunter?
It's the treasure hunter, I believe. Don't quote me on that because I haven't really played it. Uncharted. But yeah, one of them they say is criminally underutilized, and they're happy to see a lot more of her. And this one, they seem to be in India, and they're hunting the Tusk of Ganesh.
That sounds pretty awesome.
It looks like a beautiful game, and like humor. The humor though, so is that a no?
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, that looks really awesome.
Darklight and I call that lethal weaponing. When you're in a dangerous situation, and yet you're still exchanging quips back and forth with each other,
hands up, or
in front of the enemy. We call that lethal weaponing.
So on top of that, they announced the first expansion for Horizon Zero Dawn, which, as you know, I've been playing the crap out of Horizon Zero Dawn lately.
And that is definitely in my queue right now.
Yeah, it's definitely, man. Play it. It's such a great game. It's very open world. There's a lot to do, and just when you take down a thunder jaw without getting hit too many times, it feels great.
That sounds
feels
awesome.
great. But there's not a whole lot of information about the expansion yet, but they did confirm it's an official expansion. It's not just a
It looks awesome.
DLC mission or anything.
There was that shadowy beast you couldn't quite see in the in the darkness, and the whole like people come to this mountain, you know, to hunt, and all of them die. You know, you're on an impossible quest.
But we have hero armor, so it's okay. The protagonist armor, excuse me. But I want to know more about that. I don't know much about it yet, and it's just like it's coming soon. So I need to finish the main game though. I've completed like everything else except for the main story. I've gotten like 80% of the trophies.
I also need to finish the main game
and the side game and get all
and start it.
And start it. So Days Gone. I actually was I hadn't heard much about Days Gone until then. I think they were just like the one trailer that I saw.
It seemed really cool. It had that whole Walking Dead vibe to it.
Very Walking Dead kind of post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, survivors and war bands kind of feel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them doing right, some of them not.
You know, and I've been looking forward to it as an open world zombie game that's not silly, kind of like, what's the name of that one game?
There's Zombie U, which is a little silly.
Yeah.
And then there's Dead Rising, which is very silly.
Yeah, Dead Rising is the one I was thinking of. There have been a few attempts at non kind of funny zombie games, but they've all kind of felt, I don't know, they've always all kind of.
I like Resident Evil, but I miss when Resident Evil was a zombie game.
Yeah, definitely. So this looks, it really has that like a serious kind of gray-toned, post-apocalyptic, gritty.
This one I think is going to do it right.
Yeah.
When the protagonist there went in to rescue his buddy, you know, put a loud bomb on the gate to the little compound of the other little warband.
Oh yeah.
And led that huge swarm of zombies straight to the bad guys.
Yeah, they said during one of the interviews you want to use the hordes as a weapon if possible.
Yeah, that had a very Rick Grimes kind of feeling. So,
oh man, and he set a trap out in the bushes and then threw a rock over in that direction.
Hey, who's in these bushes?
Oh my god! And him screaming is really. I don't know if you noticed, he actually shot him in the head because he was making too much noise. Not the main character, but one of the guys.
One of his own buddies
shot him in the head because he was screaming too loud, and that is dangerous in that kind of world. So there's a lot of different ways that you can approach situations in Days Gone. They really want to leave it up to the player to decide how they're going to tackle a situation, and I think that's really cool. But not only that, things like little things will determine how you tackle it. Because like when it's raining, if it's raining really loud, you're not going to notice your footsteps as much. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So weather has an effect on how you tackle things. You know, I think it's really cool how they have that level of detail in there.
That's pretty awesome.
And plus, the main character looks kind of badass. It looks like a Daryl kind of character. With
yeah, he does seem like
motorcycle jacket and motorcycle.
Like some of the solutions to the problems felt very Rick Grimes, but the character himself felt very Daryl.
Yeah.
I think this is, as a Walking Dead fan, I feel like this is going to be a zombie game done right because it has so much the feel of one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely taken some bits from Horizon Zero Dawn. So I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm looking forward to Days Gone. I wasn't actually looking forwd to Days Gone.
I didn't even heard of it.
I mean, I've heard of it and I've seen a little bit about it, but I was just like, we'll wait and see. But now I've seen, which was cool. Something that I know that our friend Kane is looking forward to: Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World looks pretty awesome.
This is the first Monster Hunter game I think that is on a big console like PlayStation 4.
And I've never played any of the Monster Hunter games. I've always intended to. But I really, really liked that when you go fight, say, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's not just I have hero armor, I'm going to job out the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh, no.
No, that seemed like an ordeal. Like, that wasn't like just a one-shot fight. I mean, he was popping them and running. That fight took place in multiple sections of the map.
You definitely there's a lot of skill required to take down a monster, and they say there's skill progression, so they purposely put you against weaker enemies to train your mind. It's not just like you're grinding out XP, it's training you as a player to take down these people. And not only that, you have to fight smarter as much as possible.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of smart fighting. I mean, the person really used a lot of terrain, climbing up to high places so he could smack at the head and neck of the monster, you know, diving into holes in the mountainside so that way the T-Rex would dive in head first and try and get at him, which you'd get a few good smacks, but eventually the T-Rex would just rip apart the, the little dirt hobble area. I mean, there was some it was an ordeal.
Yeah, definitely. And they say in this one specifically, it's going to be like a rich and living world. So the world itself should be very much alive, and you're going to want to use that to your advantage in this game. So you can use the environment a lot.
And I always think it's awesome, and we're seeing that a lot more as technology gets better and better, is that the interactive environment that's really part of the game.
Yeah, so many more things in the world that you can use. Like, before you could only put in so many interactable assets in a game. So now it's just like, oh, you can use all the things. And it's just like, that
seems really awesome.
That is really awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Oh, and also with the multiplayer, it's very much drop in. In fact, I think I heard that they're using a mechanic where you can you can send out flares and invite people to join you.
I say a really huge monster, a really badass monster, that's going to take a few of you to put down.
Yeah. So people can, say you're having some trouble out in the world, you, oh my god, I need some help. Let me send Kenny or Raz an invite to see if they might be able to help me. So we get an invite, he gives me a call, whatever. and then we just drop into his mission and help him out.
Okay, so my number one call is always going to be the Darklight, but our other brother Kane is just, he lives and breathes Monster Hunter. So
yeah, we're not going to be able to help him out all that much.
No, we'd be calling him for help.
He's going to be holding our hand just a little bit because, I mean, I'm not very experienced.
He's going to be holding our hands in his own well-decorated, like, level max, you know, ultra-rare armored glove hand.
the dragon armor. So yeah, Monster Hunter World looks really good, and I might actually pick that up just because I know that Kane has been wanting me to get into a Monster Hunter game, and I just haven't dedicated myself to really, you know, it's hard for me to get into a game that hardcore on a handheld device. Usually I want to play something casual in a handheld, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to sit there like, so hard. I kind of reserved that for my console or PC experience.
Yeah, yeah. So you have something bigger to break when you get me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I want to be able to throw just the controller through the window, not.
You don't want to throw the whole screen.
Right, exactly. So on top of that, Shadow of the Colossus was announced. I don't know if that's going to be a remake, but I think it's going to be a complete reboot.
It looked cool. I feel like if I had played the first Shadow of the Colossus, it would have been more meaningful to me.
Right? But just the idea of, like, on PS4 graphics, you have these giant stone things that are attacking you, such large-scale battles.
Right.
Having to climb up them, get to the top of their head.
It looked pretty epic.
It is pretty epic, but I hear that the story of Shadow of the Colossus is actually kind of a sad one.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that too.
So if it's a remake of the first one, then it's just it's funny because you're going into a lot of people already know, so they're like, oh my god, we're gonna have to experience the sad all over again. So that was actually a really big announcement. A lot of people have been wanting more Shadow of the Colossus. I mean, they did get The Last Guardian. Yeah, I was having trouble thinking of the one, but yeah, it's the one with the kids, and he has the big old creature that has, it looks like a dog bird thing. And
right.
you know, and he's helping him out throughout there. You have to call him to you to help you out with puzzles, and he helps you take out some enemies and stuff like that. It's a story about companionship and friendship.
That's cool.
But like a boy and his dog, except his dog is a lot bigger, and he's got like a weird tail thing, and he's got like wings and feathers, and he's got little horns. Anyway, yeah. So we got that, but it wasn't exactly, you know, a Shadow of the Colossus game. It was like a completely separate kind of game.
But this one will be a full-on Shadow.
This one will be the Shadow of the Colossus, so a lot of people are happy. So yeah, that's coming. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite got a new trailer, the new story trailer.
Really stoked about Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm sure you guys remember when Darklight and his Q&A Friday talked about his when we were area master competition level over in Shelby, North Carolina, and both of us got our name on the wall because we were the top 2 Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, I think it was actually number 3 because they knocked me down before that because they put us against each other.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but he took home the first prize.
I took home first place.
I think he took home like a remote controlled car and like gift cards or something like that.
Gift cards, yeah.
So and free games at the arcade that we played at.
It was cool because to beat first place, I had to beat the guy who ran the arcade, and he's the guy who taught me to be me and Darklight to be awesome at Marvel vs. Capcom.
Because we kind of befriended him, he would just kind of like open the thing up and it just press the button and give us a bunch of credits just so we could practice. So we could.
All right, practice those moves I taught you.
Those were good times.
Yeah,
but the new Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite looks really cool. I think the story looks like it's actually going to be really interesting and really well thought out.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really often see a detailed story to a fighting game.
Yeah, I think that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 kind of like was missing that. I mean, it had like a kind of thrown in fighting game story, and in this one, it's quite a well thought out story.
I mean, so it seems. Now, you may buy the game and it's, you know, not very much story.
I mean, it'd suck if they gave us, like, the taste of the story in this. Like, I'm gonna help you find the Infinity Gems, and all the Infinity Gems are in different places, which really reminds me of one of my favorite comic arcs, the Thanos Quest, or the Thanos Saga, where he gets all the Infinity Gems.
Right. But, you know, it's happened before, where games like Bloody Roar and other games like that, where all of the, like, it had a very cool looking story, but literally all of the story is in the intro to the game. And so, then you get like a 1 paragraph recap, you know, of the end of the game when you beat the game. It's like, That was literally the whole story?
Yeah. But that aside, the gameplay looks solid, and they introduced some new characters, or I say new, but they're familiar faces. You know, Strider, Zero. Zero is a big one, because I used to play a lot of Zero back in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I really loved the way that he played, and I was excited to see him back. I think they're all going to be DLC.
Did you notice how beefy Captain America looks?
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, I think is perfect, because he's supposed to be, you know, above Olympian strength, you know, athlete. He's just small compared to these other superhumans. But I mean, he actually looked like a beefy Olympian.
You know, yeah, he's not an Asgardian or the Hulk, but I mean, for a human being with, you know, with regular strength, he's very, very strong.
Yeah.
And he should look the part. The serum doesn't just make you magically strong, and I guess it's just wiry.
Yeah,
it's wiry.
It makes you super pumped.
The only thing is, I still don't see anything about any X-Men coming.
I'm hoping there'll be a lot, because I tell you, during original Marvel vs. Capcom days, Cable was on my team every time.
Cable was his jam. Cable and Wolverine.
Yeah,
and
actually,
Cyclops.
Yeah, it was almost always Ryu and Cable, and then, or always Ryu and Wolverine, and then switch out Cyclops or Cable, depending on who, you know, what kind of...
Yeah, I think it's because Cyclops was his original jam before Cable was a thing in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So.
Or if I needed a lot of beam damage, you know, if I was playing against somebody who was very dodgy, or somebody that was... If I needed more
like
beam
against
power,
the final boss.
Final boss, yeah.
Any final boss that you can fight with Cyclops. Just using that triple combo with Cyclops' beam was just really useful.
Very useful.
Anyway, I love the fact that the game seems like it's going to be centered on getting the Infinity Stones.
I'm hoping this next one will be some DLC.
I really, really hope so. I'm looking forward to seeing that happen if it happens. But anyway, so Marvel's Capcom Infinite. There's also Call of Duty World War II got a release date, November 3rd. I don't know if you're going to be into World War II, but it looks pretty good. I watched some gameplay of it today.
You know, I feel like I've played as much of the future technology Call of Duty that I'm going to play. It hasn't really held my interest since Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get into this World War II stuff.
Yeah, it definitely looks like, you know, back to its roots, and the weapons look big and clunky. You know, fighting some Nazis.
We're going to do one thing and one thing only. Alright, killing
Nazis. So yeah, that's coming out on November 3rd, guys. Skyrim is coming out for the PlayStation VR.
I am super stoked for this, because first of all, I've never finished Skyrim. I've got like 5 characters started, and I always make it to the Greybeards and go off and do a whole bunch of side quests.
Yeah, I'm gonna confess to you guys something. I did every quest in the game practically, except for the main story.
Yes, me too. High five.
I think I pretty much went to every town I went out of my way to get like every quest. I spent hundreds of hours playing Skyrim.
Dude, can you imagine casting spells in VR, just holding down the trigger maybe and casting forth?
Oh my god, that would be really cool. I'm gonna have to. Hopefully they have some move support so I can play it with the move.
Right. I'm hoping the move controller will work.
I'm just being in such an expansive world.
Sword
VR,
shield.
and they seem like that's really being a thing, because with PlayStation VR Skyrim, but they also for the HTC Vive they have Fallout VR coming. They have the Doom VR coming. I mean, big expansive. You know, really a AAA VR title. Seems like it's coming to fruition.
Future is coming, guys.
Future is coming. I'm excited for the future of VR. Just imagine what VR is going to be like 10 years from now.
It'll be epic. That's what it's going to be.
It'll be so awesome. Speaking of VR, they showed off a few different VR titles. There was Star Child, which looks like a really neat-looking platformer game.
Yeah.
Like a third-person little platformer, but it's like a third-person platformer, but you get to look around and see all this big, cool stuff going on as well.
So, and that's in VR?
That's in VR.
So it's really cool. Cool because a lot of people are doing the first-person VR. This one decided to take that technology and go in a different direction. Yeah. Where it's still platform, but you, as the person observing what's going on, you are fluid and moving and can inspect things close on, but you're still little platformer guy.
I think it's really awesome that we see more people nowadays like experimenting with various uses of VR, various genres and different things that you can use it for, like playing a platformer but looking around the arena and things like that. It's showing the different sides of VR, all the different potentials. So
that being said, I am looking forward to way more first-person VR.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, The Inpatient was also announced, and they only showed a little teaser trailer, but it looks like it's going to be a pretty scary horror game. I'm not sure. I need to know more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued now. I would really like to know what's going on.
Yeah, it's just a little tease. You know me, I love horror games,
and I love watching you play horrors.
If The Inpatient looks like it's going to be good, I may even play it for my channel.
That'd be awesome.
So on top of that, there was the Final Fantasy 15 Monsters of the Deep expansion, or the VR experience. I'm not even like.
Oh, so it's VR.
Yeah, it's a VR game.
I mean, okay. Well, if I didn't realize when I was watching that was VR. Yeah. I wouldn't mind some VR fishing.
Yeah, it's that thing. It's like it's not the game that we asked for, but. It's a game that I'll play nonetheless, even though it's a fishing game. I get to hang out with Noctis and the crew in VR.
I do feel like, we got played just the tip. Guys, we got a new Final Fantasy game coming.
Awesome. It's in VR. Awesome. You get to hang out with Noctis. Awesome. And you get to fish with him. That's the main thing with the game. You're Monster of the Deep.
What?
Yeah. But it was cool to be able to sit down, like, it looks like they were sitting down at the camp, sharing a meal,
Yeah, that did seem cool.
It seems like it's going to be neat. I don't know much about it yet, other than you fish a lot.
Although, I have to say, a VR experience, and y'all are hanging out doing the bro thing, a VR bromance.
VR bromance.
That's what they should be marketing out more as than just the fishing. VR bromance. Hang out with your bros.
And there's also like a Prompto kind of like a fighting or battle kind of a VR game that we never got. Yeah. Definitely. But anyway, so there's also Bravo Team VR. It's coming out, another first-person shooter VR game. It looks like a Call of Duty campaign.
And another one we didn't get a whole lot of information on, but you guys, if they give me another reason to use that PlayStation VR gun, I am down.
Definitely. I still need to play more Farpoint. I haven't gotten around to playing that at all.
Guess who beat Farpoint, guys? Actually, technically Darklight Dreamer, because we played on his channel, or his account for the channel, and I didn't realize I was still logged in as him when I went and finished the game.
Lies. Darklight Dreamer totally finished that game.
Yeah.
You need to get on that.
Darklight Dreamer finished.
I think you'd really enjoy that game, Methos. Moss, another VR game that's another platformer game. It reminds kind of Despero, kind of. You got this, like, you're playing as, like, this brave rat.
Yeah, the brave... Wait, was it a rat or a mouse?
A mouse, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I don't want to offend any mice out there.
Ratigan gets upset about the difference.
Right. Ratigan. Oh, Ratigan.
The world's greatest criminal rat. What did you say?
So, sorry, he looks like a brave mouse, just like Despero. And, you're going through these levels. It looks adorable. It looks like there's a lot of...
Super cute.
It looks super cute, and there's, like, the sense of adventure, and he's fighting monsters with his sword.
A little chibi sword.
It looks like a fun game. I'm really looking
the little cottonmouth style snake that they had at the end too looked pretty cool.
He looked like he was standing up to it all brave. Like, I wonder if Despero was an inspiration for this game.
It would stand to reason.
Have you seen Despero?
No, I've always wanted to. I've seen it.
Get on it. So it's such a good movie. Aside from VR games, back to the AAA titles. God of War 4.
Oh my God, the new God of War looks so good.
I think they're just calling it God of War, right? Is this just God of War, or are they calling it God of War 4? I don't know. But anyway, I think it's just God of War, but it's the 4th entry. Looks really, really good.
And it's cool to see him using something other than the Warblades. But it only makes sense because the old God of War gave him the Warblades.
Yeah.
Now that he's not associated with those gods anymore.
Yeah, and it's kind of a symbol of his past sin. It's something that, took him over and made him rage, and, he can't really be that person anymore because he's trying to be a father figure now. So, and you actually see I think there's going to be a mechanic with that rage, too. There's like a rage meter at the top left corner, and you see, like, the sun screw up in the original trailer, and, like, that meter filled up a little bit, and you see him try to, like, hold back the beast, and, he, It's like, okay.
I relate on so many levels. Also, though, I love seeing his new weapon, the axe. That looks so cool.
And he can call it back to his hand, Mjolnir style.
Yeah, and just the shape, it looks hardcore. It glows. And then, guys on my channel, I talk about Space Wolves a lot, and they're like a Nordic-style set of fighting force. And frost axes are one of the favorite weapons. And on my channel, we always say to grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor.
Yeah, it looks straight out of the
This
Space
would
Wolf
definitely,
army.
be a kind of axe I would smash in the name of the Emperor.
I'm looking forward to seeing the different weapons that he picks up through the game as well.
I like the little pop-out Captain America-style shield. That looked cool.
Yeah, that looked really cool. And it looks like you're not... At first, people thought it was just he was just going to be walking into fighting the Nordic gods. It looks like they're expanding a little bit more than that. Like, the world that he stepped into didn't really seem like a Nordic world.
Yeah, I think that may have been why, more than the obvious from a different land, but it almost seemed like when the ladies told him that, the gods didn't like outsiders, I think, it's because he's dealing with new gods now. He's not used to dealing with, gods beyond his normal purview.
Yeah.
Besides, didn't he kill all the old ones?
He killed all of the Greek gods for sure, all of them.
So I mean, for there to be gods now, they have to be different gods, right?
Yeah. So it looks like not just the Nordic gods, but it looks like all the other gods are like, oh, shit. Well, but I like that you have your son accompanying you throughout this whole journey, and it's a journey about not only saving the world, but also about training up your son and seeing him become a man.
And it also, in turn, it seems like the son's teaching him humanity.
Yeah, at the same time.
Like the world serpent thing, they talked about,
maybe Kratos' first instinct would have been to rip his head off.
Right, and then it turns out the world serpent wanted to help them, but...
Yeah, I mean, he has been bitten in the past, there was Gaia who kind of betrayed him. He's been betrayed a lot.
Who kind of betrayed him.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand.
What about when King of the Gods, Zeus, right? When Zeus, who also kind of betrayed him.
Yeah. He has a bad track record. So, he might have some trust issues that his son's trying to help him get over. But I also like how you seems like you have your son accompanying you, but it looks like you don't have to babysit him. Like, often we have those escorts throughout games
escort missions
that we hate so much, and they just get in the way, and you have to protect them, and they just end up being useless. But it looks like he's helping you in battle. I saw at one point he was helping with a bow, shooting like lightning arrows at people. So I mean, it looks like it's going to be good.
I'm stoked for it.
All right, so moving on, another game that I think is under a lot of people's radar is Detroit Become Human.
Okay, so I saw that, and I'm like, oh, this looks like an urban kind of game, probably not going to be my thing. And then when I clicked on it, whoa, was I in for a world of difference.
Oh yeah, it's not like an urban game at all. In fact, it's a dystopian future. The androids are everywhere, and they do everything that humans do, but it better.
Reminds me of Chobits, honestly.
It really does. It reminds me of like a dark dystopian future Chobits. And the androids are trying to fight for equality and freedom, because they're just people are treating them like slaves as equipment, because that's a morality thing I think is going to come up at some point in the future in real life if we ever do create artificial intelligence. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
and you also see the same thing in Mass Effect. The first time one asks, "Does this one have a soul?" people start freaking out like, "Whoa, hold on,
Exterminatus."
Exterminatus!
And then they get mad because they don't like being shot at, so they'll shoot at you back. So
I like that there are multiple aspects of handling the game. There's no one right answer. You can choose to run and come back and fight a different day. You can choose to stealth. You can choose to fight. You can choose to hack.
Definitely.
There's so many playstyles.
All about choice, and it's obvious because it was made by the same people that made Heavy Rain. I don't know if you finished that game.
No, I didn't.
Great story. The people that make that made Heavy Rain in this game, they're just great storytellers. And this seems like it's a more detective-y kind of story, a darker story. I don't know if you saw the gameplay from before, but you're actually playing this, or it showed it from a different point of view, from a different character this time around. The character that it showed before was a detective that was an android, and you have to do a lot of investigating, very much like Heavy Rain.
Awesome.
So you're looking for clues and everything like that. The interface looks great. Like, you know, the way that you're looking at things and it's popping up on your screen, you know, the way you're moving around, everything looks so polished in this game. And your choices, there's so many different things you can do, and all your choices will craft this story.
And the developers kept saying over and over again that sometimes we're just going to give you choices where none of them are the right answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just going to be different.
Yeah. So there's so many different outcomes that, you know, can come from this game, and it looks great. I'm really looking forward to this game. I love Heavy Rain, and this just looks like that to the nth degree to me. So
seems exciting.
I think that a lot of people don't really know about this game yet, but once it comes out, I think it's going to be a big hit.
Like, you know, sometimes you look at a thumbnail for a video and you're immediately like interested or not interested, right? Mm-hmm. And I did that with this video, and I was like, not interested at all, but let me go ahead and research it for tonight, and boom, my mind was blown.
Absolutely, man, it's going to be great. I'm going to get this game for sure. So Destiny 2. You got a new trailer. You know, we've known it was coming for a while. They've talked about it, a couple trailers have come out. But I really liked this trailer because it pulls you into this story in a way. It shows off the new villain a little bit more.
New villain seems really cool.
And the new villain does seem really cool. It looks like, you know, it seems like a larger scale than the first game. You know what I mean? It seems like the stakes are higher. So, and actually it's a continuation of the first game, where you're playing as the same characters you played as in Destiny 1, but this main bad guy took out, you know, he takes out the Citadel, I guess, or the main hub that everybody's at in the first game. He destroys that, takes away all your powers, destroys it. You know, basically, he reduces you down to level 1.
Just like Altair.
Yeah, and you got to start all over, and you got to like try to form up a resistance and fight back. This one looks like it's a lot more story-driven than Destiny 1, and I really dig that. Of course, you guys know I like story-driven stuff. The gameplay looks, they say, is going to be more balanced. They're going to have a new class, so
pretty stoked for it.
I definitely might pick up Destiny. You know, Destiny 2 might be what I wanted Destiny 1 to be, and in fact, I heard that Destiny 1 through all these updates probably became what I wanted it to be after a while, but I just hadn't played it since it came out. Like when it first came out, I played it for...
I enjoyed playing it when it first came out, but the more and more obvious it was a time sink, kind of like an MMO,
yeah,
I became less interested. I enjoy things like that to a degree, but I don't really have room in my life for one MMO, and right now that's Final Fantasy. Looking for Stormblood.
Final Fantasy 14 is so good, and Stormblood is coming out very, very soon.
So I just chose not to play a whole lot of Destiny, and it's hard to balance, you know, with all of these games, especially with new ones coming out. Which one with an MMO kind of feel do I want in my life right now?
Yeah, definitely. And they said that you can totally solo through the main story of Destiny 2.
And that's what really appeals to me, is being able to do it on your own and play it as that kind of game.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, since this one is more story-driven than the first Destiny, I think this is going to be the one where I'm really going to enjoy coming in and really getting in some playtime in Destiny. So I'll be able to do it on my own, you know, and I'll be able to do it more for the story. And I don't know, I think it's just, this one seems so narrative, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get that and check it out, for sure. So we have one more game to talk about.
This one I'm so excited for. It's my favorite one from the PlayStation.
The final game that they showed, it was a grand finale, was this big Spider-Man trailer. And I had been talking about Spider-Man for a while. People were like, oh man, they're coming out with a new Spider-Man game? I'm like, yeah, dude!
Okay, in my defense, there have been some Spider games that have let us down before.
Yeah, this one looks great. They showed off some combat, a little bit more close quarters than the original trailer where we were just slinging around the city.
When Darklight told me about it, I think he phrased it perfectly. I've seen the gameplay myself. You know, it's got a very Arkham Knight feel to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Except whereas Arkham Knight is all in the dark, everything is that nighttime look with that bluish or garishly yellow light, you know, signifying that all crime happens at night kind of thing. But with Spider-Man, it's the opposite. You're in a very bright and vibrant New York, you know, and yet it's still the same systems. The stealth mode taking people out, the same kind of combat system, the use of the tools, the cuts, you know, the QTEs. You know, I think the whole thing looks awesome, and it's very, very Arkham Knight kind of feel.
Yeah, I love that it is very Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight kind of fighting style, but you definitely see a lot of the Spider-Man, you know, twists to the combat.
Absolutely.
So, like, you know, he's the way he uses his web slingers on them is just, it's very slick. He fights very stylishly, and you get the slow-mo spider sense kind of thing going on from time to time.
I'm really excited for it. And also, you notice he has a little Oracle kind of person in his ear?
Yeah, he's got an Oracle type person in his ear. I'm not sure who it is that he's talking to. They did say that there are going to be a lot of new faces in this game.
Cool.
And along with a lot of, you know, classic Spider-Man characters.
Speaking of new faces, the main bad guy of this trailer,
kind of awesome.
making like this ghostly kind of energy sword.
Like black lightning. Yeah. He has a katana that he's basically charging up with like this ghostly black lightning.
And then,
just chunking it at people too.
He's being super dodgy. I can't use the katana. Let's just turn this energy back into a ball and then blast it out.
That was really awesome.
I don't get it.
So after, you know, he encounters him, you know, there's the whole scene where he sticks something in a helicopter flies off or whatever, and he's slinging around the city. A lot of people were wondering if slinging around the city was just part of that mission. There's is this truly an open world game? And they confirmed it. Yes, this world is completely open world.
That's exciting.
And, yeah, so you can fully explore, and the way that he got to the helicopter was just one of many ways you could have gotten to the helicopter, they said.
So not a planned scene.
And they said they wanted this game to be easy to pick up, easy to figure out, you know, just within a very short amount of time, but if you've been playing it for a long time, you might find a much more efficient way to get to the helicopter.
Now, if I have some Spider-Man fans out there who've been playing since GameCube, you got to see some of this action in Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was one of my favorite things, was the fact that the map was pretty open for New York City, and you could just web sling your way around from emergency to emergency, go find different missions and stuff like that, and sometimes your own personal taste, what works for you, getting from one side of the map to the other in time to get there for that emergency was part of the challenge. You know, sometimes you'd have to use a double web between building catapult style. Sometimes you'd have to find a narrow corridor that you could just web sling from, you know, building to building. You know, it's whatever worked for you. And I think that same kind of thing is what you can see here in the chase scene, and the fact that you can get to that chase scene any variety of ways, that's going to be awesome.
Very much tailored to your play style. And, you know, as far as the fighting situation goes, you know, you can tell he definitely fights very intelligently. You can see that, like, while he's setting up for assassination, those assassinations are really awesome looking. You know, using his web slinging, he crafts little devices. I know there was one time he threw a device against a wall. The guy was patrolling by and it just kind of like grabbed him real quick. So
it reminded me of the head trap from Sword of the Sauce.
Oh yeah.
Where somebody walks by, whip to the head, pulls him in.
So that was really cool. There was a scene where he was underneath somebody and he used his web slinging to like swing himself up and assassinate him from below. So, I mean, all of that looks really cool. I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. I've been kind of buzzing about it for a while.
What do you think of the new outfit with the white details on it?
I think it looks really sharp.
It really pops,
and
doesn't it?
I know they're playing it in 4K on the PlayStation Pro, but you know, you can definitely see like every fiber of his uniform.
I think the white onto the Spider-Man costume takes what's traditionally a very dark costume and provides that right amount of pop. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's supposed to be a dark costume because he's supposed to be blending in with shadows and be harder to see.
Right,
but for a video game, I think a little pop is awesome.
Yeah, and you know, Spider-Man isn't necessarily all about you know, being super sneaky like Batman.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another thing. They got his personality, I think, like really down.
Yeah.
I mean, they were real. That's one thing they said they really wanted to focus on, was making sure they got both Spider-Man and Peter Parker right, and they got his personality down pat.
Grade A smart.
All those quips were so great. So I loved hearing that. I'm just really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, me too.
I'm definitely gonna have to get that. I think that's all we have to talk about today. Oh, there was one other game I did want to talk about that wasn't officially shown at the conference, that they did show a new trailer for it. The new Sonic Heroes game.
That I did not see.
Oh my god, the gameplay looks great. It kind of switches between like your Sonic Adventure 3D stages to the classic Sonic stages, and you get to make your own Sonic character.
Wow, and your own Sonic character.
Yeah, and they kind of botched Sonic games in the recent past, right? They came out with a few Sonic games where people were just kind of like, eh. But this one looks like it's going to be really good, and it has like a great soundtrack. I actually want to check this game out.
I've always been a Sonic fan. Even when they made bad games, I didn't play all of them. Just because, I'm going to be honest with you guys, skill and aptitude, those fast-paced
Sonic games are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the Sega Genesis games, I mean, that was a big thing of theirs. It was like, it was one of the first, like, Mario is hard too. It was hard in a different way, but Sonic was like the first like really fast-paced game, difficult because you had to think quickly kind of things.
And that's where I really struggle, especially with these new 3D Sonic games, is it's going too fast for my brain
you just
to really process what's going on. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of like where practice comes into play, where people are like, well, get good. You go through the stage a few times, you kind of get a feel for where the rings are, where the spikes are, and things like that. So you go by instinct. That's what kind of feels good about a Sonic game, is that if you practice a little bit, things start to feel instinctual. And they make the character that you create seem like it's an awesome character. Like they really make you feel like a badass.
That's good.
I mean, they call you rookie because you're new to the team and everything like that. But it seems like they send you off in one mission to just be a distraction, and you do way more than that and completely take down this giant spider robot in one of the missions in the demo. So you just completely take him down.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. How about that distraction, guys? So if any of you have a furry fantasy, or if you have always wanted to be a Sonic character, I think this is going to be the one. I think this is going to be the best Sonic game in a while. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's all we have to talk about today.
I'm really stoked about Sony's conference today, and I think there's going to be some really cool places stuff.
Yeah. The only thing I think that Sony was missing, and I think this is what's going to separate it from being a great conference to a good conference, is that it didn't have any big, mind-blowing, like bomb-dropping announcements. It seems like this conference was more about showing you more stuff about stuff they already announced. They're probably saving up their bombshell announcements for PAX or Gamescom. That's the one I was thinking of.
Right on.
So they're probably going to drop some more bombshells later on. But I definitely didn't think they won E3 this year. I know that I don't really think about it as which conference won, which one didn't. I just enjoyed all the announcements. A lot of people do. And if we were comparing it, I definitely don't think Sony had the best conference. But I'm really excited for some of the stuff they announced. So anyway. For the next video, we'll talk about Nintendo, because they actually had a really good conference as well.
Interesting.
So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button down below. Please do me a favor and check out Methos over at Frost and Fists. And also do me a favor and drop some comments too. I love hearing from you guys. I just love chatting with you guys. It really and truly makes my day. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you guys know that I'd love to have you guys as a member of the Darklight family, and we'll continue this YouTube journey together again very, very soon.
That's right.
And until then,
may your dreams light your darkest hour.
And I'll see you next time.